Okay. यवनिका दृश्यते किल?
आम्।
अस्तु, प्रारम्भं करिष्यामः। ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्य किल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। वागर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्थप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। वासुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। हरिः ओम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। हरिः ओम्। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। सर्वेभ्यः सुस्वागतम्। गतसप्ताहे एकवारं सर्वे समाधान अपि तु भक्तिः किमर्थम् इति एकवारं दृष्टवन्तः। We saw the cause and we understood what is the ananda in param brahma, or that avyakta surupi brahma. That was the definition that we saw from the Taittiriya Upanishad. So we'll quickly go through that and then move forward, move ahead into more shlokas. Okay. So द्विविधो हि वेदोक्त धर्मः प्रवृत्ति लक्षणः निवृत्ति लक्षणश्च जगतः स्थिति कारणम्. This is the first we started with this. There are two components to our life, which is basically pravritti, earn and live well and do well and be very well in life. And beyond that, we seek some level of ananda, which is beyond the material state of well-being. Just the beyond the just well state of just material well-being. And we define that material well-being as one आशिष्टो दृष्टो बलिष्ठः, right? वित्तस्य पृथ्वी वित्तस्य पूर्णा स्यात् साधु युवा साधु अध्यायकः. So we defined the unit of happiness of what pravritti lakshana. In pravritti lakshana, what will that happiness be? And if you move in the nivritti lakshana beyond that and reach that state of the highest Brahman, then we said there is a state which is about 10 to the power 22 or 20 times more than that of this Ananda. That is what we defined the state there. So it gave us a good definition of what to aim for. Okay. So that we saw. Then we saw about the concept of death and all that. I'll just move beyond these. Then we said, jnana vihina sarvamatena muktim na bhajati. This was something that we saw last week. Suramat. Yogarato va bhogarato va. Then we saw this. Bhishasmat vatah pavate bhishodeti suryah bhishasmat agnischendrascha pratyurdhavati panchamaite saishanandasya mimagam sa bhavati yuvasyat sadhu yuvadhyayakah asishto trishto balishtaha tasyeyam prithvi sarva vittasya purna syat स एको मानुष आनंदः ते ये शतं मानुषा आनन्दाः स एको मनुष्यगन्धर्वाणामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य ते ये शतं मनुष्यगन्धर्वाणामानन्दाः स एको देवगन्धर्वाणामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य ते ये शतं देवगन्धर्वाणामानन्दाः स एकः पितॄणां चिरलोकलोकानामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य ते ये शतं पितॄणां चिरलोकलोकानामानन्दाः स आजानजानां देवानामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य ते ये शतम् आजानजानां देवानामानन्दाः स एकः कर्मदेवानां देवानामानन्दः ये कर्मणा देवानपि वियन्ति श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य ते ये शतं कर्मणे देवानां देवानामानन्दाः स एको देवानामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य ते ये शतं देवानामानन्दाः स एक इन्द्रस्यानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य ते ये शतमिन्द्रस्यानन्दाः स एको बृहस्पतेरानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य ते ये शतं बृहस्पतेरानन्दाः स एकः प्रजापतेरानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य ते ये शतं प्रजापतेरानन्दाः स एको ब्रह्मण आनन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य यश्चायं पुरुषे यश्चासावादित्ये स एकः स य एवंवित् अस्मान् लोकात् प्रेत्य एतमन्नमयमात्मानुपसङ्क्रामते एतं प्राणमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रामते एतं मनोमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रामते एतं विज्ञानमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रामते एतमानन्दमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रामते तदप्येष श्लोको भवति. So we saw this and we said, this is what is the Asishto, Dridishto, Balishta, Yuva Syat, Sadhu Yuva, Adhyayakaha, Sarva Vittasya, Sarva Prithvi Vittasya Purna Syat. This was one unit of happiness we defined for this human being. This is in the Pravritti Lakshana. Please note, all this is Pravritti. Suppose the person were to travel in the Nivritti Lakshana path, we said it goes to 10 to the power 20. And we also said, this is what it goes. But what we also said is, at every stage, you come back to the Manushya Loka and then have to go to the next. If at all you need to, if you want to keep shunting around these, you have to, at every point, you need to get back to this Shotriyasya cha kamaha tasya through a Manushya Loka and then get back to one of these lokas. The alternative is, you can directly say, this is the loka I want to aim for. That is the Brahmanaha. That is the Brahma Loka. Brahma Vida Apnoti Param. That is what one who knows Brahman knows everything. That was the question. That was what Brahmanandavalli says upfront. So that is also through the Manushya Loka only. So that is what we defined. Yes, Parvati Mohde Vadatu.
Sorry, I forgot. Maybe I'm asking the question. So you can slide from a higher level to a lower level depending on your actions?
If you remember our slides on time,
the
concept of time, each time your time in one loka is over, you need to come back to this Mrityu Loka. Okay, that Mrityu Loka is what? It can be Manushya or
it can be, depending on your...
Or any form of this where there is a Mrityu form. You need to come back and then go back to, then based on what you are aiming, what you want to be, you can keep transitioning between one or the other. The only thing is, once you transcend, you say, I don't want any of these, I'll directly go somewhere here. That is where you are beyond the state of Janma Mrityu. Clear?
Yeah, but basically what I was asking was, supposing I was a Manushya and in that Janma I have reached Karma Devaha Sthana. But again, I have to start from Manushya when I'm born again.
You'll come to Manushya. It is, see, these are not This is not
stages.
transitional. You don't need to start from here, go here, then come back, go here, come back, etc., etc. It is not like that. So you can directly go from here and get here somewhere.
Yeah.
And then come back. Then you can name something. You may say, oh, no, that was not enough. Maybe I'll go to a lower place. It is too cold, too warm, too this one. Some people say, I don't like Goa. Maybe I'll go to Sri Lanka. Maybe Sri Lanka is not good. I'll go to Cambodia. Maybe Cambodia is not good. I'll go to, France. You can keep jumping around all the places. So ultimately you say, no, enough is enough. I'll just go to Brahmaloka and stay there forever. I'll not get anywhere else. So that is the whole concept. So in any case, you have to come back. You have to come back home.
Okay.
The home, what you call home, is your Mrityuloka here on earth. So that is the whole idea. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. We can then move on. So how do we, now the question is, yes, we all know this. Be very good person, do all the karmas, earn a lot of punya reward points, and then you can go into all these places. That is sort of, well cracked, to say, this, what do you say? In slang, it says, there's a well cracked formula. Getting to these places is a well cracked formula. You keep doing good things, you keep doing the right things, you can go to one of these sloka, come back. Keep doing the right things and keep going everywhere. So all this concept of I'm spiritual but not religious, I'm this but not that, I don't believe in this and all will take you somewhere here and there. You can keep jumping around. All those things will do. And I'm also very religious. I believe in this. So this is what I'm aiming for. You can go in all those directions. All right. So, but let us say you want to directly get to this point of beyond the state of birth and death. That is the whole discussion all about, correct? So we want to transcend to a state where we do not want the cycle of birth and death. The question is, how do we start? And that is the whole journey of Bhaja Govindam. Because if you remember, it started with, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Moodamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukrui Karane. So what was he doing? He was memorizing Ashtadhyayi. All your memorizing of Ashtadhyayi, doing everything with Ashtadhyayi will take you to one of these lokas. Or just, when I say Ashtadhyayi, it is not just Ashtadhyayi. Doing all the right things, doing the perfect thing, being a good person, good father, good son, good brother, good. All the goodness will take you to one of these places and bring you back over a period of time. If you want to transcend that concept of time and space itself, the point is that we all at some point want to transcend that concept of time and space. It may be a difficult concept to comprehend at this point, but then that's our ultimate journey. If you want to do that and reach this state, then there is a path. Bhaja Govindam. Now, what is Bhaja? Today is our whole discussion start. Today is our real conceptual understanding of Bhaja Govindam. If I were to put it in some sense. Till this point, it was all some prelude. All right. So let's get to that. And let's see a few shlokas. And from there, we will move to some discussion on Bhaja. Okay. Bhagavad Gita Kinchidadhita Gangajalalava Kanikapita Sakradapidyena Murari Samarcha Kriyate Tasya Yamena Na Charcha. Okay, I'll do the Padacheda. Bhagavad Gita is known. Kinchidadhita. One who is somewhere at least attached to that Bhagavad Gita. Little bit. Athva Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pitaha. A little bit of Ganga Jala, been to Tirtha Kshetra or done this one with the Tirtha Sthana, all those things. Sakradapiyena Murari Samarcha. Krishnasya, some bhakti, some dhyana, something. Kinchit, some puja, something you have done. Kriyate tasya yamena na charcha. Yama with Yama, that charcha will not happen. he will not do any charcha with Yama. That is the idea. Now, what this means? It's a very deep but very profound statement. If you understand our concept of our concept of in the concept of Sanatana Dharma, Yama plays a very important role. He is called Dharmaraya. He is, and Yama was in sync with the person called Chitragupta. We all understand Chitragupta and Yama. So I explained this in, I don't know how many of you come from a commerce background. I explained this in a financial terms, In finance, if you were to in finance, it's a concept of finance and accounting. Both go hand in hand. It is not only finance or it's not only accounting. You can't live in only both. So, in accounting, you have a concept called running concern. An accountant will keep tab on every single paisa spent throughout the year or throughout at every point in time in some form of a balance sheet. That in some sense manifests as a P&L at the end at a given period of time. It could be a quarter, it could be a half year, it could be a full year, whatever it is. And then you square off the accounts at that time and roll over to the next year. Now, whatever is rolled over is called a going concern. You have a going concern for a long time. Okay, that is accounting. Now, finance is a little different. Finance is not different in the sense that, what is the job of a finance? What is the role of a financing organization? Accounting, of course, is a bare minimal thing. We all need to know how much money is there, etc. But if you're going to go with with finance, it will say, I need more money. I need more cash flows. How do I increase my profits? How do I increase my revenues? These are the kind of questions a finance person will ask. An accounting person will say, okay, this is what has come, this is what is your loss, this is what is your profit, and will give you a factual representation of what is happening. So similarly, our dharma constitutes two things. One is the account keeping. As Krishna also said, we have been discussing this, I am a very faithful account keeper. I'll keep your account perfectly for all your karma that you have done. Whether good, bad, right, wrong, all the things, I'll keep the perfect accounting. And based on that account, I'll give you something. Yeah. But this is at individual level. This is at a very, micro level. What happens at a macro level? Macro level, there is the same thing has to be maintained as a samanya dharma has to be maintained. So that dharma maintaining, somebody has to keep a tab on how much of adharma is happening overall and how much of dharma is happening overall. So to give a simple example, you can't say a company is in too much of debt or has borrowed so much that it's this one at all. Nor can it say I have so much of reserves. Everything is stocked up in some assets, in some stocks or in banks or everywhere. I cannot liquidate, or in real estate somewhere I have kept it. I cannot liquidate, and I cannot say that I don't have money to pay salaries. This is the job of a financing person. Accounting person will tell you faithfully, okay, this is where it is locked up, this is how much is there, etc., etc., etc. So Chitragupta is that accountant who will keep a tab on everybody's what is happening, where very faithfully he'll do that. Yama is that person who will maintain your right, wrong balances overall, how it is to be done, who is to be meted out, what sort of a punishment, when, or what sort of a reward, punishment, etc., etc., etc. Okay. So this is the role of Yama and Chitragupta. And please note, finance, that's why every company will have a finance department where they'll hire accountants and a finance person. The CFO is usually a finance person who will usually have an accounting degree, but also a good corporate finance background. Just a mere, accountant cannot just transition into a CFO role without a good finance background of 10, 20 years, 10, 15 years. All right. And similarly, a mere MBA who's just passed out of an MBA doing finance, MBA finance cannot become an accountant. There's a role for a CA. Every company needs a CA to be audited. Audit should be very clearly done. The audit job is done by Chitragupta. How many rights, how many wrongs at every instant, at every time, at every situation. The finance job of what punishment and where to liquidate, how much to liquidate, what position, and this one, the decision is made by Yama. So both of them need to go hand in hand. Very simple thing. Let's say a company has to run overall. What will Yama say? What will a CFO say? Infinitely increase cash flows. Have infinite financing to be done, right? But is that possible? That's what the CFO will say. No. How do I care whether I have 10 rupees more, 10 rupees less in the balance sheet, etc., etc.? He'll say I have infinite this one. Similarly, what will Chitragupta or the accountant say? Simple. No need. There is no need for any finance. My job is easy if everything is zero. Right? My role is very easy. I don't need to do any accounting then. Everything has to be zero. No, there should be no world at all. So very intelligently, if you Paramatma has put both of them together, say you both need to manage these things. Okay. So there is zero as well as both are extremes. So you both can't be at extremes. You need to work very well. So if you remember, Mrityurdhavati Panchamaiti Bhishasmat Vatah Pavate Bhishodeti Suryaha. We saw that, no? We just saw it a couple of slides ago. Let me pull that up. Yeah, this one. So it says, Bhishasmat Vatah Pavate Bhishodeti Suryaha Bhishasmat Agnischendrascha Mrityurdhavati Panchama iti. This Mrityu is the whole this one of Yama. See, all the accountants will always report to that CFO. For us, the upkeeper of dharma for all of us is Yama. Okay. So Yama is that CFO. Chitragupta is that accountant. Okay. So Mrityur Dhavati Panchama iti means there is a fear of that Paramatma where these two are working in tandem to ensure that dharma is maintained on this planet. There is no imbalance. If there is an imbalance, if something is happening, then yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuddhanam dharmasya tadatmanam sijamyam will happen. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So that also that's why Mrityu is called Kala also. Time. At what point should an intervention be made? Who should make what intervention at what point in time to ensure that the overarching principle of sustainability or dharma is maintained? Dharma is all dhruvi dharane iti dharma. That is all. It comes from the dhru dhatu. What is sustainable? That's about it. So a company is sustainable only as long as its cash flows are healthy. As long as it's making profits and its cash flows are healthy. Correct? Nobody will differ on that front. A company, in my experience, I do a lot of consulting for startups and a lot of companies. Companies fail not because they are not profitable. In my experience, 75 to 80% of the companies don't falter because of profitability. They're all profitable. At some point, they can make profits. They falter because of mismanagement of cash flows. Cannot pay salaries. Employees are not happy at some point. Something goes wrong. Mismanagement of funds at some point. Right? These are all finance problems. These are not accounting problems. Okay. Accounting is very faithfully done. So that is why this Yama and Chitragupta's roles are very, very important in our dharma. All right. So I hope that is very clear. So that's why if we come to this one, भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीत गंगाजललव कणिकापीत सकृतप्रियेन मुरारिसमर्च क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्चा। येन भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीत गंगाजललव कणिकापीताः सकृतप्रियेन मुरारिसमर्च, some puja, some form of meditation, etc. is done. Tasya charcha with Yama also will never happen. Tasya charcha yamena kadapi na bhavishyati kriyate. So what does it mean? Yena Bhagavad Gita kinchit adhita. Little bit of understanding of Bhagavad Gita, what it says, how are the karma yoga, bhakti yoga, what is karma yoga, what is bhakti, what is jnana. Little bit of understanding comes in. Athva you can do sadhu gamanam, tirtha sthana, good samparka, satsanga. This Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita means satsanga with good set of people, good set of understanding with people. Ekavaram api Vishnu puja ch kriyate. Bhakti. Some form of bhakti of Vishnu or any here Vishnu is mentioned that Paramatma's forms are infinite. Any form of bhakti is done. Tasya Yamaha charcham na karoti. About him, that Yama also will not think too much. Mrityudevaha natam manasa api chintayati. There is no need to think about this. Otherwise, Yama has to constantly keep thinking. What is the sort of result that I need to give this person? What is the kind of result that needs to go on with it? Okay. Saha maranam atikramya bhuktaha bhavati iti arthaha. He is beyond that Brahman. That is the role. Yama has also said, okay, I can't deal with this. This is not in my domain. This is not in my genre of dealing with things. We'll go beyond this. When does Yama's role come in? When he has to say, you go to this loka, go back and come. You have to take this loka, come back. That is the role of Yama. So Yama, when he says, okay, this is beyond me, that is done. So that is the whole idea. Prashna asti va? Yes, Yamalambika Madhyavadati.
Sir, actually, you told Chitragupta will keep an account of all our actions. Is it like any, I mean, will it be like any physical accounting book or something like that, or how?
So, okay, that physical accounting book is one form of maintaining accounts. But I see the way it happens, as we saw, is through vasanas and it is maintained within. So, all that concept is mostly within. So, it is, this is a mechanism. Take this as a mechanism. So, as we saw, there is, the way it is done is, as I showed you, it is, what is that? Sanchita karma. Then comes your agami karma, prarabdha karma and agami karma. These are the three things that come up. So, sanchita karma is whatever you have filled up so far. Prarabdha karma is all that you are exhausting right now. So, you come with a set of prarabdha that is there within you. So, you exhaust. Once that is done, you can add more to it and call it agami, or you choose not to add to it and go back. Or whatever you want to do and go back and fill it in the Sanchita Karma. So that is the accounting. Now, provided it goes to the Brahman and says, okay, I am Jnana has happened and that experiential has happened, experiential wisdom has come in, then all your Sanchita and Agami will burn down. So that is the role which they will play in some sense. So these are just, some form of entities that we have conceptualized for this undertaking.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Prashnaha nasti chet agre gamishyamah. Okay. पुनरपि जननम पुनरपि मरणम पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे. This is a very famous shloka of this Bhagavad Gita, of this Bhaja Govindam. It says, Punaha api jananam, punaha api maranam. That is the cycle. That is the cycle of birth and death which goes on and on and on. Punaha api janani jathare shayanam. It is about taking care of the stomach again and again as we come. See, as Krishna says, Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritah Pranapana Samayuktah Vachamyannam Chaturvidam. This Jataragni. I am in the form of that Vaishwanara in the Jatara or the Jataragni, which runs this, which is the prime mover of this samsara. Do we all agree? Everything that is done originates from the fact that there is some hunger that needs to be fulfilled at the end of at every given point in time. If that is not done, the world collapses. Correct? Who gets how much of hunger is satisfied, how much goes on and on and on is a different person, individual story. But that is a fundamental principle of this sustainability or dharma on this planet. Correct? Everybody agrees to that? So, every time something is born and something is going on, it is punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Iha samsare bahudustare. It is vistara. As we saw the timelines, no? Space, at least in some sense, is noble. We saw the timelines. Some 3.1 trillion years is just one cycle of Mahapralaya, and again you start off. So it can go on and on and on for so many years. So, in order to get over that, so what is it being asked? Kripaya apare pahi murare. Please help me get out of this. I don't want to be stuck with this. Pahi. Pahi is protect me from all these things. That is what is being said here. Okay. Janana marana atmaka samsara chakre agyani punah avartate. Correct? Somebody who is not well established in that and who cannot see that, who is deluded in some sense. We are all in some sense deluded by our limited understanding of what this world and beyond this world is. Padosya Vishwabhutani Tripadas Divi. Purusha Sukta clearly says this. Padaha Asya Vishwabhutani. Whatever is known to us is 1/4. Pada is not leg. Padaha Asya Bhutani. Tripadaha, 3/4. 1/4 is, we understand 1/4 of it. 3/4 of it. Tripadasya Amritam Divi. That is beyond our understanding. So if you want to understand and travel even beyond that 3/4, or beyond that whole this one, then we need some Bhagavad Kripa. We need some this one. Ma Anartha Sankarat Pahi. This going and coming is a long going on and on and on and on. So please help us get out of this in some sense. That is the prayer here. Okay. This I think is straightforward. We'll also see the next shloka. Then we will see two more. Ratyacharpata vicharati kantaha punya vivarjita pantaha yogi yoga niyojita chittaha ramate balon mattatavad balon mattavad devaha. Okay. Ratyacharpata vicharita kantaha punya apunya vivarjita pantaha. Where you have given up all punya and apunya. Yogi, yoga niyojita chitta. One who is firmly established in that yoga. Now, yeah, this is a very important thing. Yoga is not about just mats and flexing your muscles, flexing your body muscles in some sense. So, yoga is here, that is referred to as the Ashtanga Yoga, where you have yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Correct? Ashtanga Yoga. The Ashtanga Yoga Paddhati has a lot of insights. Yama and Niyama. Asana is just one part. If you read 196 Sutras of Patanjali, as my friend keeps putting it very carefully always, there are only 2 sutras which talk about asana. But we have come up with a very great definition that all the entire yoga sutras are all about asanas today. The whole thing is spent on asanas. Flexing your body is all about yoga. That's what we call yoga. And then the whole 1 hour is yoga, 23 hours is ayoga. So that is not yoga. Yoga is Ashtanga yoga. Yoga is not about then you combine yoga. I saw some board yoga, Zumba. Then what was that? I even forget. Why do I forget names? So many other things. There are so many things listed. Yoga, Zumba, then Western dancing. So many things. So that is not what it is. So only 2 sutras are about yoga, about asana. One is Thiram Sukham Asanam. One that gives you a very comfortable position in which you sit or you are positioned in, not sit. Sthiram Sukham Asanam. That is one sutra. There is one more sutra in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. That is all. He finishes the entire asana business in two sutras. Okay. All the other things are all very detailedly mentioned. Yama Niyama goes very long. We forget Yama Niyama. You can live anywhere you want for 23 hours. 45 minutes, yes, flex your body in all forms and shapes and become whatever you want. Then the whole day you can be in any other form you want. Then Pranayama goes for some time. Pratyahara. Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi are also very detailedly discussed. So, if you do that, then Yoga Niyojita Chitta, one who is firmly established as Chitta in Yoga, that Ramate is always in that Unmatta state. In IM, we used to have what is called Unmad. You know what Unmad means? Unmattaha.
Blissfulness?
Huh?
Blissful?
Not blissful. Actually, Unmatta.
Arrogance?
Huh?
Arrogance?
Not arrogance. That is the Marathi version of, or colloquial usage in Marathi. I know that.
Unmatta.
So, yes, Vijaya Mohoday, you have something to say?
Fear, like fearful.
No.
I think terrorist ke the Unmadi will say na that was
Matta. Have you all heard of Matta? Mada.
Mada. Mada, Dev.
What is Mada?
We talk about that in this thing context of elephants. Mad mast.
Yes. Mada. Inebriated state.
Yes.
Inebriated, yeah, that's the right word.
The right word is inebriated state. Now, Uttama Mattaha. That is
yes,
Unmatta. Ut is always up, no? The highest form of inebriation. But here, inebriation is not in the negative context. You remember that Ananda, 10 to the power 20 state of Ananda? One who is in that state of Ananda, the state of mind of that person is Unmattavat, Uttamattaha, Uttamamattaha. So this is Tara and Tama. So that is, what is that? Comparative and superlative degrees. Tama, this is the Tama. Uttamattaha, Uttamatamaha. The highest form of a state where you cannot imagine even the inebriated state is nothing much.
Here
but he's
that
not behaving in that inebriated state. He's very much in control. Still is reveling in that Unmatta inside. So you see, if you want to revel in Mada, in the inebriated state, you have to act in your body has to act very weirdly. Correct? If you're inebriated, that means you do not have control over your mind, and it needs to be very, if you see elephants, as Shalini Mahodaya just said, elephants will go berserk. because they do not have control over their senses. Now imagine a state where you are inside reveling so much, yet you are able to dissipate the energy out. That is the Unmatta state. Unmattavat. Yes, Sushila Madhya.
Yeah, I want to know, has it got anything to do with the tamas state?
Huh?
Tamas.
Tamas, no. No, it is not a tamasic this one at all. This is not a tamasic this one. This is not, that's why Mada, that is inebriated state when people are, falsefully joyed. That comes from a tamasic state.
That's what
That is a tamasic state where, people drink and then get into that state of Mada. That's why it is Utmatta. See, when you add the prefix Ut, is taking up.
Okay.
So even though that Matta may be used, but it is Utmatta.
Consciously,
Yes, consciously in that state. They are not out of their mind control. They're not out of their mind in some sense. Okay. So that is the state that is being spoken about here. Ramate. In fact, Ramate. Yes, Parvati Modaya.
Sometimes even music or something can also take you to that state. Sometimes even music can take you to that state.
It takes you to a state of joy.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're absolutely right. Music takes us to that level. A beautiful music sung by somebody, say S.P. Balasubramaniam or somebody who takes you to that state. You're not out of control of your mind.
You're not.
So there is a sattvic form of doing it. That is a sattvic way of doing it. You're right. So that at the highest form. Imagine 10 to the power 20 times that. Okay. So that is the state that is being talked about here. Bala Unmattavat. A child, reveling child, a child reveling in happiness. You give a child that makes him a little happy. Look at the happiness in that child. That is what is being talked about here. Okay. Yogena Atma Sakshatkara Sampanna Ratyaya Samupalabdena Jirnapatena Kantham Dharan Unmattaha Pantaha Iva Punya Apunyabhya Vivarjitaha Cha San. So these are all the attributes of that Unmatta state. Given up all the consciously given up that Punya and Apunya. Everything is given up. I don't care now. What is Punya, Apunya? I don't care. It's okay. Yogena Atma Sakshatkara Sampannaha. Okay. Ratyayam Samupalabdena. Being steadfastly practicing it in very steadfast manner. Jirna Patena Kantham Dharan. So this is Jirna Patena Kantham Dharan. It is basically you take the world as it comes as a single cloth. Jirna is basically digestion. You are able to assimilate and accept everything that the world throws at you. The world will throw 100 things. Correct? We are thrown with 100 things. Situationally, we are exposed to some things where we react. Most of the times, we either react or do something. Now, if you have the wisdom at every point in time, we are not impacted by it at all. It is okay. I accept. I see. I am there. I am all right with it. I am perfectly fine with it. Unmattaha. That is the Unmatta state. Right? Loke asmin kridati. Kasmin kridati? Balaha iva unmattaha. A child who is happy with a small little thing that is given. Kridati. That person will get into that. Now the question is, as we said, how do we aim to get to that point? That is the question that we all have in our minds. Correct? Anybody who does not have that thought in mind?
Mm.
So we all want to tread that path and go to that point, no? And get there. So this text, this Prakarana Grantha of Bhaja Govindam, the whole thing starts with the word Bhaja. So let's dwell a little bit more on Bhaja. We spoke about Bhaja. And we also, in the very first few classes, I discussed about Bhaja and Govinda. I said it is not Gam Vindati iti Govinda. That was one definition. Then we said, no, it is Gavam Yasya Vindati. That is what the final discussion we came to. Okay. Then we said Bhaja. Bhajan Sevayam is what is Bhaja. Correct? So a little bit extension of that, if we were to say, it comes to Kimbhavishati Bhakti. Bhakti. If we get into that form of Bhakti, and that's what Acharya has been telling us throughout. So we had a prelude to this, how to get to this Bhakti. You know, we said, we are endowed with the greatest thing called Shadhari Vargaha. That is basically said, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Then we said, replace this Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya with Shamadamadi Shat Sampat. Shamadama, Uparati, Titiksha. Then, what was that? Shamadama.
Paramati.
We said that, no, it was that Shamadama, Titiksha, Uparati, Samadhana. Right? We said replace that Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya with these six virtues. And in the end, we said there is Samadhana. The Samadhana, we understood it to be with a form of taking it with a sense of equanimity. Right? Samadhana. We also defined that Samadhana as Apuryamana Machalam Pratishtha Samudravat. The whole of all the rivers waters entering into the Samudra will also not bring the ocean up so much. Will not change the ocean's levels in any which ways. This is what we define Samadhana as. Right? How do we get to that state of Samadhana? Came with a set of things which we said is now, that is where we are entering into through Bhaja Govindam. And how do we do that? We do it with a concept called Bhakti. Okay. So, for the next 4 or 5 classes, or probably, in 4 or 5 classes, we'll wind up Bhaja Govindam also. We'll see this form of Bhakti. What is Bhakti? What are the forms? What is it? Where it comes from, and what happens with Bhakti? Right? So far, we were all seeing the Pravritti Lakshanani. Pravritti Lakshanaha. Sarve Drishtavantaha. So in Pravritti Lakshana, what we said, replace that Kama, Krodha, Shadar Arivargaha with Shamadamadi, Shat Sampat. Correct? With that Shat Sampat, we said, do all your activities with that Shat Sampat. That was the Pravritti Lakshana. To move to the Nivritti Lakshana, we need to inculcate a concept to get to that Samadhana state. We need to inculcate a concept of Bhakti. Okay. So let's start by defining what Bhakti means. To understand a little bit on what is Bhakti. Now all this, as I said, this is all going to be enough theory classes, because, all this Bhakti, Shraddha and all are going to be experiential. Nothing that, I can give you 100 lectures on Bhakti, but unless we get into it deeply into it and contemplate and do some real contemplation and inculcate in our lives, there's no concept called Bhakti, right? So, but nevertheless, there are very, very important ideas which can be incorporated even in our Pravritti Lakshana. So there are many, many things that come here. So I just want everyone to just pay some thoughts on what it is. Okay. So, bhaj dhatoho utpanna. Okay, it comes from bhaj dhatu. Bhajan sevaya. We saw that upfront. And through Prakrishna, if you put a pratyaya, it becomes bhaktaha. And then bhakti comes out of that. Okay. There is how many of you have heard of Narada Bhakti Sutra? Shalini Mahodaya has heard. Have you done any study on it? Has anybody taught you, Mahodaya?
Yes, in the Chinmay Mission, we have online self-study groups where usually people who have done it directly from the Swamis, they moderate, and so there's a discussion after they, explain it. So yes, I have done. I haven't attended all of it, but I know the hang of it. I can.
Okay. So Narada, this is a conversation between Vyasa Maharshi and Narada. So Vyasa Maharshi asks Narada, what is it that is an easy way to get, reach Paramatma? That's the question that Vyasa Maharshi asks. So Narada Maharshi starts off with saying, are you trying to trick me into something? Are you joking? Because by then, Vyasa Maharshi would have already written the Bhagavata Purana. He says, you are the greatest creator of Bhagavata Purana. You know everything and you are asking me to tell this. He says, no, that is all right. That is all one way of very detailedly telling a lot of things. But I want some real, synthesized version of everything. So he says, I'll give you some sutras for this. So there are some beautiful 84 or 90 sutras. I don't know how many. Some 90 sutras are there with this. Okay. So there, Narada describes all features, lakshanas, what bhakti is all about. It's a very simple and a very straightforward text. It's easily understood, which can be understood by Lord. Very elementary, this one. Putting it to practice is equally difficult. So anything that is easy to understand is very difficult to practice,
That's what I was going to ask. Is it as easy to practice as you say?
Yeah. It is like saying, all you need to do, all you need to build a nuclear reactor is uranium and then do some fission. Simple, no? It's not very difficult. All you need is uranium and do some fission. Frankly, that's the end of a nuclear program. All you need is uranium-235 and some neutrons to bombard it with. That's it. You have built all that you want. But you know what it takes to build it, right? Or going to moon. Escape the Earth's gravitation with escape velocity of the Earth. That's all. So it's as simple as a one-line statement. I can end how to go to space, escape the Earth's velocity with escape the Earth's gravitational force with escape velocity of 11.2 kilometers per second. That's it. End of story. But then, who can do that? How to do it? That is where the whole this one is. But in any case, Narada gives a beautiful set of ideas. So it starts with Athato Bhakti Vyakhya Syamaha. From here we'll elaborate on Bhakti. Okay, then the second one says, Satam Asmin Parama Prema Rupa. Sa here refers to Bhakti. That. Sa is that, no? Sa taute, sa te taha. That. She. In this case, she. Bhakti is Srilinga. Sa tu asmin. Please note. Parama prema rupa. Prema. That is the highest form of prema. That is the highest form of. That's where, these words like Preeti, Prema, and love have been so badly corrupted in today's world that we feel ashamed to bring it out in certain concepts, in certain contexts. But that is the highest form. So, for instance, Mira's Bhakti, for instance, highest form of Bhakti is Prema with Krishna. What is that kind of Bhakti? That's why it was Prema. It was pure, eternal Prema. There was nothing else. Radha's Bhakti. You bring those out, there is nothing. That's why this is the very first sutra. If you look at it, Satu Asmin Parama Prema Rupa. The true form of love is Bhakti. The true form of love is Bhakti. In the purest form, Bhakti is nothing but love. That's what it means. The purest form, or the other way around, Bhakti is nothing but the purest form of love that you can showcase, and affection that you can showcase, that you can impose on something. Okay, that is what is Bhakti. That is the first one. The second definition of that, Amrita Swarupacha, that's where it gets qualified. See, this can be Kalushita. Narada assumed that on day one. He knew, if I say this, people are going to get into all forms of prema and then give colors to it. He said, no, now let me qualify it. It has to be Amrita Swarupa. How many forms of love are Amrita Swarupa? Here, Amrita, what is Amrita? Yasya mrityuhu nasti sa Amrita. One which is beyond the Mrityu Loka. One which will take you beyond all forms of Mrityus. That is Bhakti. Okay. That's why further he qualifies. We'll talk about it at some point. In Narada Bhakti Sutra, Muktimapi dasyate. Paramatma muktimapi dasyate bhakti kadapi na. He will give you mukti. Getting mukti is easier than being called as a bhakta by that Paramatma. Whatever form of Paramatma you want to call, he will never say you are my bhakta. He will be very happy to give you mukti and get rid of you as fast as possible. And say done and dusted. Calling you a bhakta is the highest form. It is even beyond mukti. That is what Narada qualifies it at some point. I'll bring that sutra if I can find it somewhere. So that's why in our whole journey of bhaktas, we have 5 Pancha Maha Bhaktaha Santi. KK. First and foremost was Prahalada. Right? Prahalada was the Parama Bhakta. Then you have Narada himself. That's why he could write this whole Bhakti Sutras. Narada, Prahalada. Third was Anjaneya Swami. Anjaneya Swami's Bhakti is Apara. Okay. Fourth was Bhishma Pitama. Parama Bhakta. Fifth one was Kuchela, Sudama. So Kuchela, it is said that when Vedanta was being taught in Sandipini Maharshi's ashrama, Krishna and Sudama were sitting together. This story comes in Bhagavata. So he is talking about Jnana, Paramajnani, Paramatma Swarupa, Vedanta Chintana is all going on. Brahmavida, Apnoti Param and all that. So everyone is very ardently listening to Sandipni Maharshi. Oh, such a wonderful discussion. Everything is happening. Everyone is there. Krishna is also sitting. Sudama, instead of looking straight, is looking at Krishna, who is sitting beside him. He is looking at Krishna and revealing himself as though something is going on in Krishna's face. So somebody sitting behind, usually, obviously, you know how students are, how we all are, backbencher. Usual backbencher comment. And the teacher must have said, why are you doing to somebody else? Then he points out, Sudama is looking at Krishna. See, you are not telling anything to Sudama. So he is obviously looking at Krishna. He is not doing anything. He is not paying attention. So people will assume he's gone mad and is doing some other mischief in the class. So some student complains. So Sandipini Maharshi explains that you are all only listening to what I am saying. Sudama is experiencing what I am saying. Everything that I am saying. That is the form of bhakti, that is the form of jnana that he already had. Of course, there's another story, he was very poor and all, that is another story altogether. And as we saw, I think I brought that shloka where it said, when yada Krishna alingitam, tada muktim anubhavat. That who got mukti? It was not Sudama who got mukti because of alingana. Krishna got mukti because of an alingana with Sudama. So that is the form of bhakti. That is the form that a bhakta can take. That is what a bhakta will take, and that is the reason why all these five are worshipped. If you look at Anjaneya Swami, it is said that somebody who worships Anjaneya Swami is higher than worshipping Rama himself. So that is the level of this one, that bhakti is given in this philosophy and in this in our country, in our whole Sanatana Dharma. That is the place of a bhakta. True bhakta is given that state. Okay. So, of course, Krishna qualifies bhakti in 4 forms. We all know this. I will just bring that up. Chaturvida bhajante mam. Chaturvida bhajante mam janaha sukriti norjuna artho jigyasu artharthi jnani cha bharata. So I'll just Chaturvida, 4 forms people bhajante. They worship me in 4 forms. Okay. Here we are talking of Bhaja Govindam, no? So how do we worship? The question is, how are we going to worship? There are 4 forms to worship. Janaha, Sukrutinaha, Arjuna. Arthaha, on a need basis. I want this, give me this. You are doing this bad to me, I am coming to you, do this for me. You better do this for me. It's a demand. Put for the demand. So Krishna recognizes this, by the way. See, please note that our philosophy is very, very clear about how our minds work. We have never said that, this is the wrong form of bhakti or they should not be there. We accept people the way they are to begin with. If you ever ask anybody who is the most accommodating and most tolerant people on this planet, it is only those from Sanatana Dharma. Nobody else can be ever more tolerant. So it's very wrong to say that anybody can be ever, intolerance is ever spoken about in this concept. We are not being tolerated by others is a different story. That is, they have a problem with us is a different story. But we have always been very, very clear about this tolerance. Okay. Artaha. Then, of course, the order has changed here, so I'm just making this order all right. Artharthi. Transactional. Get me a promotion, I'll give you a coconut. Get me a promotion, I'll do this homa. Get somebody married and I'll do this. Get me a child, I'll do something else. Transactional. Bribe. In some sense. It's accepted. Okay. Krishna is saying this. There are 4 forms, right? Then, an inquisitive person. What is this? Who is this Bhagavanta? Can I try to find out more about that person? How do I find out? How do I do this? That is Jigyasu. Okay. The last one and the highest form, Jnani. Somebody who is in an experiential state of wisdom. Tesha Jnaninaha me priyaha. That also Krishna further in the next shloka, he qualifies. The 17th shloka, he qualifies. Of all these people, Jnaninaha me priyaha, Nitya Yuktaha. He says they are Nitya Yuktaha. They are always in the know of that Paramatman. Krishna further says that. Okay. So these are the 4 forms of bhakti. So there is no problem in starting here. I will get to you only when I need you. When something is beyond my reach, I will come to you. No problem. Start from there. Then it moves to a transactional state. But at some point, you should transition into an inquisitive state. Most of us will be in that. We are all probably sitting here because we are all at some point inquisitive. and trying to get to know what is happening around. Correct? Any questions? Any thoughts? Any thoughts around this? Okay. Astu. Agre gamishyamah. Okay. So now, beyond this point, Krishna dedicates an entire chapter in Bhagavad Gita to what is called Bhakti Yoga. Correct? 11th chapter is full of Bhakti Yoga. So Arjuna's question, that is, Ye chapyaksharam avyaktam bhaktastam bhaktastam paryupasate. That is what Arjuna says. So to that Krishna answers something. So we'll see some shlokas from there. So of course, first he says, Maya eva mano yema ityayukta upasate shraddhaya parayopetaha tesham me yoga vittamaha. That's where it starts from. Nityayuktaha is my true bhakta. He has already qualified in the 7th chapter. He comes there. So, Mula Mantra Bhakti. We'll start with this. Mayyeva mana adastvam mayi buddhim niveshayam nivasishyasi mayyeva ata urdvam na samshayah. Fix your mind on me. The me here refers to Krishna as the Paramatma, in any form of Paramatma. Please your intellect in me. See, some people are so egoistic that, they will say, yes, I am very well into Paramatma, I have given in. But the intellect is still not there. When it comes to making a decision, it will not go to Paramatma. It will say, it is my decision, even against all will and wish of the Paramatman. But it's their will and wish which they will impose on that. Correct? That can happen. Then, no doubt you shall live in me hereafter. So that form, that dridhata, that you will take care of me. So one of the Parama Bhakta, the kind of Bhakta is, that's why if you remember, it said, Balavat Unamattaha. If you look at a 2-year-old child, if you see a 2-year-old child, that child has surrendered everything to the parents. As long as the parents the child is in the know that parents are in the vicinity. Look at the kind of tantrums the child can throw. The child has surrendered. You leave it anywhere near the gate, it's going to the street. You leave it anywhere in the house and it's all doing all sorts of mischief, going near a fire, going near something that it should not touch, everything that, or going to hit itself on a wall. Every single adventure that is possible on this planet is happening with that child. How is it possible? Because it knows no matter what, the parents will take care. The responsibility of my safety is with them. I am not responsible for my own safety. Very clear, very clearly established. Very clearly, firmly believe. Now that, take a little different context. Suppose the parents or the grandparents are not in the vicinity. It could be conscious, it could be subconscious. Okay. The moment the child realizes the parents are not in the vicinity, look at the quiet nature of that child, the way it is sitting. The fear that comes into the child. Does it happen? Have you all seen it? It could be done consciously also. You can tell the child, hey, look, I am going, don't do anything, sit down. Give it a proper instruction. It may not even be able to understand. The child may not even be able to say anything. The moment you are out of sight, it is not going to do anything. It will keep sitting throughout till you come back. Observe this. The moment it realizes you have crossed the threshold and on this side you are visible, everything will start. Any accident that has happened with the child has happened with the child clearly knowing that that the caretaker is in very much in the vicinity and they have not done their job. There's a very clear indication that the child is giving to everybody around. It is very, very rare that you let the child sleep and it has taken something on its own. You can test it out. This is a very, even you can do enough tests on this and go about doing it. So one of the forms of this expressing this bhakti is what is called surrender or sharanagati. That is what Krishna is advocating here. Sharanagata bhava. Mayyeva mana adasva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayyeva. Come live in me, revel in me, always be in me. Ata urdhvam na samshayaha. There is no doubt you'll always progress fast. That is what Krishna is saying. Ata chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mayi sthiram abhyasa yogena tataha mamichhaptum dhananjaya. There should be a constant urge. Ichha aptum. Mam ichha aptum. There should be a constant urge to seek that Paramatma. If that urge is not there, then nothing can be done. Okay. And abhyasa. And that should be constantly seeking. It will be constantly going and going and going and going towards that. Then you are steadfast there. Okay. So then we will see this also. Abhyase pyasamarthose mat karma paramo bhava madartamapi karmani kurvan siddhim avapsyase. If you, okay, let us say you cannot practice that yoga. You cannot do that. See, it is not easy, no. If you are doing 500 work throughout the day, and if I say at every instant keep remembering Krishna or keep remembering your Ishtadevata and doing it, it's a little difficult. It is like that Narada story. I don't know how many of you have heard it. So Narada once goes and out of some form of he wants to hear his own praise. So he goes to Narayana and everything and says, who is your most favorite bhakta? It is not the Parama Bhakta. It was not Parama Bhakta. Parama Bhakta, Narayana would have said, yes, you. But he says, who's your favorite bhakta? There's a difference between the favorite bhakta and Parama Bhakta, no? So who is your favorite bhakta? So he wanted to hear, oh, it is Narada. So he says, no. It is not. He says, there is one fellow, one farmer who is there on earth. So he is my Parama Bhakta. He is my favorite bhakta. So Narada thinks, okay, this fellow must be doing much more Narayana than me. So he has become a favorite bhakta. So let me go examine what he is doing. So he goes to the farm, spends a day with the farmer. He goes around. So first he goes, morning he wakes up, he says Narayana and he just does some small Narayana and then he does not have time. 4 o'clock and he rushes to the field, does all the work till afternoon and does so much of work. And when he's coming to the house, while he's crossing the threshold, he again says Narayana. Then again he's eating, he's working again all through the day, and at the end of the day when he's sleeping, he again says Narayana and goes to sleep. Very peacefully he goes to sleep. So Narada is furious now. How can this person be called a favorite bhakta when he is not even saying Narayana? He cannot even say one Narayana for more than 3 times. So he goes back. He goes back to Narayana and says, what is this? Not happening. You said I am not your favorite bhakta. That fellow is there. He just said for three thrice. I said, okay, all right. Yeah, probably I am wrong. Can you please do me a favor? I'll change my opinion if you want me to change my opinion. Do one thing, take this, there's a pot full of water, brim, fill to the brim, keep it on your head, walk around the earth once and then come back to me. But there is a condition. Not a drop of water should spill. Not a drop of water should spill out of this pot. And you can't hold it. It has to be just lying on your head, you have to walk. Says, okay, big deal. I'm Narada, I can do anything I want. He just keeps it on his head and walks. Narayana's order. No questions asked. So not a water drop to be spilled. Nothing will spill. He keeps walking. He says there's a snake which is sitting there. He has to circumvent the snake and go without spilling and going all around and does all this and comes back. Probably it takes some time. I don't know how long it takes. Comes back to Narayana. Now then Narayana asks, well, very good. Have you done? Yes, perfectly done. You told your order, nothing spilled. Look, it's exactly the same and keeps it down. Very good. Very good, my boy. So how many times did you remember Narayana? So he says, oh, sorry. Some disconnect here. So he's lost. Then Narada understands. So he explains. See, in spite of doing exactly the same work that you did, that fellow remembered me twice. Now you tell me who should be your favorite Bhakta. So that is the point here. That is the point that Krishna is trying to make. Yes, it is quite possible in your day-to-day schedule of all the works that you are doing. It may not be possible for you to practice that yoga of being in me and doing everything that you want. What you can do is upfront you can dedicate all your actions to me, to that, and then start doing it and start practicing it regularly. Imbibe me as part of your work activity. That is also one way of doing and showcasing bhakti. That is what Krishna is saying here. Then he says, suppose you are not able to do that also. Ataitadapyashaktosi कर्तुम मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यथात्मवान् अथ एतदपि अशक्तोसि. Suppose you are incapable of even doing this. This api also ashaktaha asi. You are incapable of doing that also. You are not able to remember and give up all the work, dedicate all the work to me also. Mat yogam ashritaha. Take refuge in me. How do you do that? Sarva karma phalatyagam. Give up all the fruits of the action at least. This is all mine. See, the moment we are successful, it's all mine. The moment we are unsuccessful, it is all God's. God made us unsuccessful. Even if we are successful, it's my hard work. That is the attitude we all take it, no? So Krishna is saying, don't do that. Whether success or failure, irrespective of all that, whatever comes, accept and do that phalatyaga. Samarpanam kuru. Yata atmavan. Abandon the fruits of action being self-controlled. As in, give up the fruits of that action. Don't jump around and say, this is my fruits and I need to take all this. Then what this does is your agami karma sampadna will reduce because of this. So this is what Krishna says. Okay. This is this one. So you can start with this karma phala tyaga. The question of what's in it for me. We will start dissociating that sangha varjitaha. Will become sangha varjitaha at this point. Okay. Makes us free from the effects of that work. If there is no what's in it for me, then it's easier to start doing things for the sake of that Paramatma. Correct? If we start doing things for the sake of that Paramatma, the mind starts getting purified and helps us fixate the mind on that Paramatma. Then it gets to that Paramatma being fully resolved in that. Okay, Astva. Okay, now what we are going to do, we'll probably take a few questions if there are any. Any questions, any thoughts, anything that anybody wants to share? No questions?
Yeah,
No
I
thoughts?
just had a comment. Yeah, I guess when we were talking about all the lokas and how to transcend time and space and all that, and you were mentioning that you have to come back as in human form again, and only
No,
to
not necessarily in human form. Mrityu-loka.
Okay.
Mrityu-loka. That could be in any form in that Mrityu-loka.
Okay.
Yeah.
But only human form is able to get the knowledge of Brahman.
Yes. Only
Yeah.
human form will lead you to liberation.
Yeah. Because if you have not acquired the knowledge by coming back several times, again you'll come back.
Then you'll keep on
again you'll be given a chance to learn about Brahman. But if you don't,
Correct.
again you come back.
Correct.
So that's the whole thing.
Correct.
I mean, that's the whole. I mean, we have to keep that in mind while we are learning all this. Yeah.
Correct. So just, to add to that point, see, all animals and plants, even though they are chitta, they are with chitta, they have the chitta, they're not jada. They have lively forms in the modern day terms, right?
Yeah.
They are all pre-programmed in some sense. They don't have this concept of what is called free will. Correct? What do I mean by pre-programmed? There are 4 basic things that everyone will do. Any form of life form will do. One is fulfill their hunger, right? Then they will fulfill their basic instinct of procreation. Then they will sleep, and they will what else will they do? Yeah, these are the 3 things which they will do. Any form will do this. Okay. Now the 4th form, which is the free will, is endowed only with human being. That's why when you have a lion and a deer, they can coexist with each other very, very normally if the lion is not hungry. They can sleep beside each other. Nothing will happen. Very, very happily they can coexist. But if the lion is hungry, then it's a different story. It'll kill the deer and eat. But no lion will ever say, maybe tomorrow when I get hungry, this deer will not be there. Let me kill it, keep it in the refrigerator and eat it at that point. That will not happen. Correct? That is the difference between a human being and any other chitta padartha, with anything that has a chitta. Now, how you use this free will, whether you use it to, create that additional food for yourself for the next this one, or you strive towards attaining that Brahman and move towards a moksha marga, is an individual choice. That is the free will that we have. It's not wrong to keep things as in have things planned and do. No. That's not what I'm saying. There is a pravritti lakshana. Everyone has to do that pravritti lakshana, and that is being done. But beyond that, to progress towards the nivritti lakshana, where do we draw the line and say, okay, this is where I start moving towards that nivritti lakshana? That becomes very important. Correct? So that is the whole concept. Okay. Any other thoughts, comments? Prashnaha santi va? Na santi. Uttama. Okay. Anything else? Parvati Mahodaya?
This thing about everything arpanam to, I give it to God. I try saying that in the morning. Then all the anger, frustration, no, I'm not giving anything to it. It's all me. So it's a very nice idea to make you be good, to be, kind, everything, but it doesn't work so easily when your nature is something very different. If I don't know. But I'm trying still. I wake up in the morning saying that. It doesn't last very long.
So here is another extreme that people usually get to. Maybe give it a thought sometime.
Yeah.
The one thing when we say karma tyaga and karma phala tyaga, We think only good things to be given are to be given up.
That's what I was going.
Now, suppose you say even anger is you.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you try this form also. It's okay. Whatever comes, I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Good, bad, right, wrong is secondary. Now, that is it because that's a judgment your mind is making.
Yeah.
That may not be the judgment which Paramatma is making. Right?
So, but you're conditioned to saying, okay, you're giving only good things to anybody. Leave alone to God. Yeah. Yes.
That is where that is where we have drawn that constraint. No, that's a constraint problem. That's a human. That's our natured subconsciously natured constraint. Now, why do we do that? Because so that good things come back. In some sense, think about it. But
it's okay even if I am being rude and everything. That is also arpanam to God. Makes life easier.
Yeah.
I'll give you a very simple example.
Yeah.
It's so
even
much
anger.
Yeah.
Anything in the fit of anger, this is all yours. Take it.
Okay.
Wholeheartedly take it. In fact, it's not something I'm telling without basis. Our Shastras say that Manyuk karta, naham karta, manyum karayata. This comes in Narayana Upanishad. Manyuk karta, it says the anger is doing this, not me. Manyuk karta, naham karta, manyuk karayata. The manyu is making me do that.
That's like in English, the devil made me do it, they say.
Yeah. The whole Manyu Sukta that we pray to. Yaste manyo vidat vajrasai kasa ojah pushyati sa madrishaka sahya mata. It goes on. Manyu.
But
Mahodaya. On Manyu. Okay. So this is a very, very important thing for us. We never say that Manyu is wrong. Anger is wrong. But done in the right
for the right
this way. So that is where you can, when you are doing phalatyaga or karmatyaga, you can say, yes, this is also your form. See, then the calmness changes. The state of calmness changes. The way you start thinking about things changes. Yes, Sushila Mahodaya.
Yeah, Mahodaya was saying that when you were saying that Manyu Sukta, that Narayana Sukta or Narayana Upanishad, there that aham, when we say naham karta, aham karta, that aham is not referring to ourselves, right? I as a human body, I as the body. So it is not referring to that I as the body, right?
See, that naham karta, there it refers to the ahankara. The body, mind, intellect complex.
I was thinking aham as that superior aham.
Yeah.
I am not doing that. Superior aham is not doing. It is my it is the anger in my body which is doing.
Yeah.
That's the interpretation I took.
So the way it goes is naham karta, manyuk karayata. So the way it goes is Manyu is making that something in me is acting through, because at the end of it is acting through us, no?
Yeah.
The action is being performed. You can't do away with the fact that we are the agency of that action. The body, mind, intellect is the agency of that action. The locus of that action is still in that body, mind, intellect. Do you agree? So that is the statement that is being made there. Na aham karta. That body, mind, intellect is not the locus standi. It is the manyu, which is the superior form of that I, is what is doing this. So that's why I am transcending and giving everything to you. That is the reason why I can do all the samarpana to you. Even though it is done with this form, whatever comes out of this, whatever is the action being done, is also going to be directed to that Narayana.
Yeah, that's true. No, I was thinking, when we are doing an action with thinking like what you said of samarpanam, this is, you are saying, I am not doing it. I am not, when I say I am not doing it, I don't mean the body, right? So here everything
No,
which is
no,
given to
here
you.
in this case, it means the ahankara. The aham here is strictly the ahankara of body, mind, intellect.
Okay.
That is the one which comes up.
Then you can make this as an excuse for all your shortcomings.
No, it is not an excuse. It is, you see, it is the bhava. Yad bhavaha tad karma. It is the bhava with which you do it. If you are doing it with a cynical sense of, okay, I am going to do it, that's a cynical bhava. Yad bhavo tad bhavati. Correct? If your bhava is not right, then there is no point in doing it. The bhava should be with the bhakti. Should be with the shraddha. If that bhava and bhakti are not there, then there is no sense in doing all this. That bhava should be extremely pure. See, then things go wrong, it is okay. You know, there is that other shloka in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, maybe I'll take one more minute before we wind up. Phalam pushpam toyam. I'm okay with, just giving me water or with flowers and some fruits, etc., etc. That is the most misunderstood shloka in the 9th chapter. The thing is, they have brought it onto a cynical sense. Okay, Krishna does not need all this. I don't need to give anything. I will just excuse myself. Even if you can, there's a concept of yatha shakti, yatha ichha. Now, even though if you are ashaktaha, asaktosi, that's what he says. If you are not capable of doing this, then it is pushpam phalam toyam. If you are capable and if you are still not doing it, then it is a cynical form. Then you are becoming a Maisa. Maybe you are saying, okay, I don't care about you. Now, if that is the bhava with which you are doing, then better not do it. But if your bhava is, yes, I will do it with all my intention right and with all the things that is right, then do it right. Then it does not matter. For somebody like Sudama, maybe that phalam pushpam toyam itself was great. It's not possible for him to get anything else. But yo yam yam bhajate mam. So I will give that form of this one. That's what Krishna says, no? So that form of bhakti, yadbhavo tadbhavati. That is what comes up. So you can't take a cynical approach to this action. Say, okay, I'm going to now be in complete anger. Now this also means if Paramatma is saying, okay, change your anger. Maybe I'll give you a little bit of calmness. Be willing to accept it. It's a two-way cycle. No, it's not a one-way, this one. So if that can be done, then that complete surrender is possible. Say, because the child has surrendered, right? Now you hit the child once. The parents need to hit it. At some point it is misbehaving very badly. You will hit it. Now it can't say, no, I will not. And it can't. If it hits back, that's wrong. It needs to be told, no. Keep quiet. That sort of a paraspara bhava when you develop, then it goes well. Then it is a very straightforward thing. Yes, Ashwini Mahadeva.
Sir, in this shloka, Naham Karta, Hari Karta Hi Kevalam. In this shloka, what is Karta then? Karta means Karta, like Kartari?
That's what it says. The anger is what is making me do this. I'm just an agency of anger. But anger is you. Okay. In fact, even in Rudra it comes, no? Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Namaste Rudra Manyava Uto Daishave Namaha. Manyave Namaha. Manyu is a form of Rudra. Namaste Astu Rudra Manyava Uto Daishave Namaha.
Here there, Manyu is not bow.
Huh?
Is it Manyu their bow or arrow or something?
Yeah, Pinaka Hasta with anger. It's a show of anger. Manmata, he killed Manmata through this one and all that comes. That's a Puranic this reference. But Manyava Uto Taishave Namaha.
Ishave is the bow, right?
Issue. Yeah, is that arrow.
Arrow.
So can I say, so accept myself the way I am, but do whatever and offer it to the Lord?
Yes, offer to the Lord.
That
After
you are.
everything.
Don't think I'm not good enough, not bad enough.
Nothing. You have made me the way you want me to be. I am behaving exactly the way you want me to behave. And I shall do that. I shall take your instructions. Align to that.
And Parvati, you will find that your anger and whatever the reaction, it will get reduced.
It's more irritation than anger.
No, it will get reduced. It will get reduced.
Fair enough. Okay, we'll stop here.
Yeah.
Okay, next week we may not have a class because we are having some puja at home, so we will do that. And we will meet on the 16th of December, we will meet again. Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukhabhat Bhavet, Harihi Om, Shri Krishna Arpanamastu, Shri Guru Charana Arvinda Arpanamastu, Gurubhyo Namaha, Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.